All right, hey everybody, we're back with another news feed here for you. We're going to start this one off quick, but if you want any of these articles, I put them up here in the top for you where you can see them. The other thing you can do is just type in car scoops and then use any of these keywords. These are keywords that work for Google. So you can type in car scoops, space, Porsche, sued, Macon, and transfer, and then it's going to pop right up for you. So any of these articles work that way. If you want to read them for yourself, this one we're kicking off. And I'm going to talk fast. I try to get as much information to you as quick as possible without wasting your time. Did Porsche do enough to address consumer complaints about the issue with the transfer case in its SUVs? Apparently they have not. There's a class action suit for them because of the fact that their transfer cases and their transmissions are failing. It is basically, I don't remember, it's marked in here the years, 2011 to 2018 Macons and Cayennes, prompting a class action lawsuit. The suit is being brought on. They're clunking, jerking, and having all kinds of problems. One guy even, he can't get it fixed. He can't get Porsche to do nothing about it. So there's a class action suit. The only reason I put this article in here, because I'm not buying a Porsche, is the fact that even if you're paying 150 grand for a car, these manufacturers still treat us like crap. We're still drug over the coals. Okay, it's not just a domestic brand or a Toyota thing. It's all brands. It doesn't matter how much money you pay. Look at the reliability of Land Rover. This is it. It's all brands. So don't think there's a way out of the misery that we all have to suffer for. And if you buy something fancier, you're going to get that quality. It's not there. You're just paying a higher ticket price, but it's still. The quality is not there in any of them. Moving on from there, right here, Jeep expects to grow plug-in hybrid SUV sales by as much as 50% in 2024. That's all cool and interesting here. There's some more stuff, the reason I picked this, but expects to sell 160 to 170 plug-in hybrids, 160 to 170,000 plug-in hybrids, or commonly referred to as PHEVs. Okay, plug-in hybrid electric vehicle, just so you know. They're launching their all-new Wagoneer S EV model, but they're rolling pretty strong here with their plug-in hybrids. They're feeling that the plug-in hybrid is the way to be able to keep the ICE, the internal combustion engines, alive. This is the way that they're going to be able to meet the demands, do the things that they need to. Right here, plug-in hybrid sales at the level Jeep is expecting this year would top Stellantis' total of 2023 U.S. sales of vehicles at roughly 143,000 units. They would also outperform the industry forecast of 27.5 segment growth this year, according to Auto Pacific. That compares to the consulting and data firm's 17% growth for EVs. And they show you on here, too, that last year, sales of plug-in hybrids for Jeep were 113,000 units, including those were 67,000 Jeep Wranglers, that's at 4xe, and 46,000 Jeep Grand Cherokees. Through the first quarter, sales totaled 31,000, up 47% from a time a year earlier. Remember, no Jeeps are selling. Ram can't sell nothing. Well, they're up 47% on these over the year before. But what's interesting here is they expecting that Wagoneer S EV. I just talked about that in another video. They also have the Recon coming, which is going to replace the Cherokee midsize. They're also bringing back a new Cherokee coming that's going to jump up a platform size. If you haven't watched my other news videos, keep in mind I publish at least a minimum of one video every single day. So if you touch on my truck news playlist, you will see all of this stuff is there. I do a really good job of labeling in the title of the video. I only get 100 characters, but I try to give you all the info of what's going on in that actual news feed, so it's there for you. But they are making it happen. They are getting it done. And then they are going to take advantage of, so we know that the Ram Charger pickup truck, 1500 with the range extender, where it's using a 3.6 Pentastar motor to power a electric battery system, which will then power the electric motors that drive the car. So the 3.6 Pentastar does not actually power the vehicle. It is used as a generator to power the electric vehicle. That's called, they're calling that a range extender electric vehicle, or a REV. Okay, as you see in here. So with that rev, they are bringing out a bunch more. Same concept with that 3.6 V6 Pentastar engine in there. They got the Ram Charger. They are also going to have that line up in a Wagoneer that you're going to see, that you've seen in other videos I've done. They have huge plans for this. So Jeep is Jeep and Ram are focusing real hard on plug-in hybrids. They're still doing some electric car stuff, but they're realizing, like Toyota, that plug-in hybrids are the best of the. They're what's going to be the best bet for, or best bang for the buck here. Moving on from there, right here. So we got this one is interesting. Experts, you should never buy a used car with more than 100,000 miles on it, no matter how good the price is. I don't necessarily agree with this. Okay, I think there's a lot of great options out there, but their points in here are solid. Okay, especially today, especially if you were to buy a 2024 vehicle made by anybody and you were going to buy it 5 years from now with 100,000 miles on it, be careful. Okay, because this stuff is legit and true, more so now than it's ever been before. Today, most reliable vehicles can rack up sky-high miles that would have been unheard of a few generations ago. Blah, blah, blah. Not today. Okay, that's untrue. They're nowhere near what they could have done 10 years ago. But high mileage vehicles, especially famous, durable models from reputable brands, can be hard to resist when pairing and tempting asking with low asking prices. But in nearly all cases, it's best to walk away when you see 100,000 miles or more on the odometer. That's what they're saying. So why is that? Well, this dude, Robert Dillon, founder of EV Hype, laid out the primary reasons. And what he says, okay, many can go further, but you'd be unwise to roll the dice. Many auto experts agree that 100,000 miles is the upper limit for considering purchase of a used vehicle, said Dillon. Beyond this point, the likelihood of significant maintenance and repair increase substantially. That's the kicker part, okay? The likelihood of significant maintenance and repair increases substantially. The other downside to that as well, too, is the fact that these, the cost of time at the shop labor is doubled and tripled over the last few years. So the average repair cost on a vehicle today is $4,600. That's the average repair cost. Again, I put that in another video. I even titled it and showed it that for you. But the cost to repair vehicles are ridiculous. And when you get over 100,000 miles, the likelihood of significant, meaning big, maintenance and repairs increases substantially. That is a huge factor. And it says right here, vehicles with over 100,000 miles typically face more frequent issues and major components such as the engine, transmission, and suspension. The average cost of an engine replacement can range anywhere from $3,000 to $8,000 or $40,000 if it's a Toyota Tundra. Transmission costs can be anywhere between $1,800 and $3,400 or $6,000 as we see on some of these trucks today. The potential expense can grow and outweigh the initial savings on a lower price vehicle. This is all true, and this is nothing new. This is legit. You take it with a grain of salt and understand it, but they also go on here too that it's not only about the vehicle itself right here. See, it says, remember, mileage tells only part of the story. They go on to say in here, too, that the maximum number depends on the type of vehicle. A diesel truck, for example, is expected to last 100,000 miles longer than a similar gas engine truck. Obviously, it's a diesel. You can also count on Honda and Toyota to be reliable for at least 50,000 miles longer than your similar Dodge vehicle. And you can mention two famous, right here, see it? Miss one oil change and costly problems could arise. Okay, you don't know what happened to this vehicle before you bought it. Okay, so it doesn't take much. If they're doing 10,000 mile oil change increments and you buy it with 100,000 miles on it, you're going to have some issues that are going to cost you some money. And as you saw at the top of the article, those costs are significant, and the prices for repairs today are through the roof. So they also say if you live in a rural area, cars aren't usually driven as hard as if you live in a city. If you're on the East Coast where traffic density is high and roads are heavily salted all winter, nearly everywhere you go, you should be leery of a vehicle with more than 100,000 miles. These are all simple, common sense facts, but ones that people don't think about. And it makes a lot of sense, okay? If you look at a vehicle that comes from Wyoming or Montana, you can presume or assume the mileage is primary highway miles. Much easier on a vehicle than city stop and go on the gas, on the brakes, that kind of stuff. So a lot of things that you need to consider and dive into, but apparently their attitude is, these guys, They're telling you walk away from the cars that are over 100,000 miles. Seeing consistent fluid and belt changes, brake work, and so on builds confidence to smaller issues that didn't escalate, but even lower mileage rides aren't risk-free without paperwork proving care, which means that the dealer, you know, it's good to, if you're not using a dealer that's going to record all your oil changes and you're going to sell a car, it's better for you to actually record them yourself and show the receipts of the oil purchases and the stuff like that, so you can present them to whoever you sell the vehicle to, so it's nice. So, but things that you got to consider, and I agree with this. I purposely sell my vehicles before I need to put shocks, before I need to put brakes, before I need to put another set of tires, before I need to dump money into it. I dump my vehicle out and I go buy another one. Okay, I do that on purpose at a certain mile interval, somewhere around the 60,000 mark, so that I don't have to do all of this stuff. So their articles legit make sense. All right, moving on from there, we got two more that we want to touch on quick. Ford says drivers will be able to take their eyes off the road in 2 years. Okay, he sees a car becoming a rolling office in a new future. He says vehicles will take over while the driver can look away. This is the dumbest crap I've ever heard of. This is the most. I wish they would stop all this. I've said it in many of them, so we're not getting into it anymore. The most dangerous thing on the road will be autonomous vehicles that are done like this. And it's a shame. And shame on anybody who puts their car in auto mode, takes their eyes off the road, and that car kills somebody or does something. Shame on you. It's the worst thing. It should never be allowed, my opinion. But I cannot stand that this is happening and that we let this go. Moving on from there. Last article of the day. Nissan stopped spending money on gas engines. It's done. Okay, now it doesn't mean they're going to stop using gas engines. It means they're done with doing them. There is no more updates. There is no more refinements. There's no new motors. There's none of that stuff coming from Nissan. Okay, we know, I've said it in other videos here too, other news videos. Toyota, Mazda, Subaru announced that they are joining forces to develop next generation combustion engines because they believe in the combustion engine. They want it to work, and they believe they can get the thermal efficiency to reduce the gas mileage and make this stuff work and have it still be there as a happy medium. Nissan says it's pretty much done spending cash on new internal combustion engine technology. Okay, Australia Magazine Drive chatted with the company's senior vice president and chief planning officer, what a long name, of Africa, Middle East, India, all these places in this region, and about what lies ahead. This guy basically, Bailey, was asked whether Nissan intends to develop new combustion engines. His response: our future is EV. We're not investing in new powertrain for ICE, that's for sure. Okay, so something to consider and keep in mind. Okay, they're focusing heavy on EVs. They still have their stuff that's there. They want to try to modify some of their thermal efficiency and some of their combustion engines to get it to 50%, which they have not done yet. Nobody has yet in the auto industry. I think the closest they've come is 40%. Right here, Toyota Dynamic Force lineup, they've already surpassed 40%. So they're getting there, but there is nothing new coming from Nissan. There will not be a new turbo V6 non-hybrid that's going to hit the Frontier at any time. There is nothing. So I don't know what that's going to mean for the future of the Frontier. It kind of makes me wonder, but apparently it is not anything new coming from Nissan as far as internal combustion engine, and that's pretty sad and pretty disappointing and pretty upsetting because the Frontier is an amazing truck, at least maybe hopefully, because they don't sell compared to like the Ranger and Tacoma and the Colorado, maybe because they don't sell enough of them, they can get by and keep going with the same 3.8 liter V6 naturally aspirated that's in it. Maybe they can continue that for a very long time. I sure hope so. And I'd be happy with them not putting a new motor in. Just leave the Frontier alone is what I'm asking Nissan. Don't mess with the Frontier. It's perfect as it is right now. Don't do nothing except give us the option to use the rear locker and 4 high. Otherwise, leave the Frontier alone. Leave the motor alone. Don't touch nothing. I don't care what you do with any other vehicle. Leave the Frontier like it is for the next decade. We will all be very happy. All right, that ends our news feed for you. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.